No, my stupid... this damn condenser microphone. Once we get some money, I'm going to get some dynamic microphones.
Some good stuff, right?
When we're rich.
Yeah. When we're sponsored by Kudu. Like properly sponsored by
Kudu and Gamer Subs.
Yeah, exactly. That works.
Gamer Subs, if you're listening, we'd like to be sponsored.
Yes, and we deserve to be sponsored. Listen to us.
We do.
Great. We're great.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of everyone's favorite podcast, the Critical Arcade Podcast. I'm your co-host, Nick.
And I'm Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Nick, are you well?
Yes, I'm well. And I'm ready.
You're ready? Ready for
Ready.
what?
I'm ready for some more Critical Arcade.
Who isn't? Everybody wakes up in the morning just waiting for more Critical Arcade.
Of course.
We all know that.
Of course, who isn't ready for more Critical Arcade? But what I mean is we took, I think, a month and a half break.
Yeah, a slight hiatus, I like to call it.
Yes, we took a hiatus. For some people, it was a low-atus because they wanted their Critical Arcade, but they couldn't get it.
They couldn't get that hit. No, exactly.
Yes, that's the type of cheesy jokes you get at Critical Arcade.
Yeah, we just had our training arc like in anime. We were just out there, 100 gravity, just getting better, training our voices. Yeah, things are just going to get better and better. That's why we're back better than ever. And here we are. It's going to be a great episode.
I mean, we'll say it's better than ever. It's going to be the same.
Don't tell them that. It's, positive thought, there's a placebo effect. They're going to listen to this and be like, whoa, this is so much better.
Whoa,
it was
you
well
improved
worth it.
Critical Arcade.
Yeah, see, shh. Don't tell them.
I won't. But if let's jump into this week's episode. I'm sure a lot of people have been waiting with bated breath.
I'm sure.
To just listen to us talk about games again.
And to get today's game is...
Oh, right, yes. Okay, excuse me.
It's a bit of a decider, right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, we got given by the lovely people at... I'm going to get this wrong. Is it Game Infinity? Kudu? I don't know. We got given...
Correct. It's Game Infinity and Atlus and Sega. Thank you, Game Infinity and Atlus and Sega.
We got Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance.
That's right. It's not Shin Megami Tensei V. It's the upgrade all-encompassing version that Atlus always does 2 years later.
Yeah, which is a bit weird. Yeah, like I said, it's one of those things where is it too early to do like a remake? Not really remade, but like you said, a more new game plus version of the original game.
Yes. I mean, the industry has kind of a couple of years ago, or generations ago, they got into the habit of calling these Game of the Year editions.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
That's a horrible naming convention.
Yes, I do hate it too. Yeah,
I can't think of any other way.
GOTY, right? Just written on everything. Yeah, I do.
Oh, it sucks.
It only dawned on me now. We've done a few of the Shin Megami Tensei games. I don't know how many, and if you conclude the Persona ones. Have you ever looked up what it actually means?
Yes, I have.
What's it mean? Go on. Use that big.
So Megami Tensei was the first novel that came out sometime in the 80s or early 90s, meaning reincarnation of the goddess.
Yes, that's exactly what I wrote down. See, he knows stuff, ladies and gents. I thought I was going to drop down some knowledge, but he already had it. He had it in his chambered up.
Unfortunately, that didn't belong to Atlus, so they kind of made a new version that they had control over. Yeah. So they call it. Is it new reincarnation of the goddess? Just Shin Megami Tensei?
Yeah, it's granted I researched it kind of has a bit of a weird translation issue. It could be new, it can be reincarnation, it can be rebirth. The language itself adds to a degree of what's the word? Confusion. So it kind of mixes it up.
There will always be some type of language.
So I never knew that.
Localization is so important.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
Exactly. So I didn't know it was true rebirth of the goddess, vengeance, by all accounts. So
the fifth true rebirth of the goddess, vengeance.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And I was looking at these games. Granted, ladies and gents, this is by developer Atlus, which if you're anything into
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, JRPGs. They're kind of up there with Square Enix in the whole JRPG atmosphere.
Oh yeah.
They did the Etrian Odyssey games, which are super hard RPGs. They're quite old now.
Oh, they did a ton. They
do Catherine. Do you know that weird...
Of course I know Catherine. That's kind
Catherine?
of Shin Megami Tensei, not Shin Megami Tensei. It's a game about having an affair.
Yeah, that game is weird, but I kind of liked it. The weird sheep stacking mini game puzzle thing you had to do. I digress. They do pretty much all the Shin Megami Tensei games, and they have a hand in, of course, the Persona games. They also
do all of it. They do all of it.
They also do Trauma, Under the Knife, those really, really bad
Trauma Center.
Yeah, the surgery games where you got to
Atlus
take out.
Did Trauma Center?
They had a hand in it. They have a sub studio that kind of does them.
Okay.
But anyway, they've been doing them for years, and I only found out the other day though. Depending on your views on remakes and stuff like that, they've made 56, give or take, Shin Megami Tensei games in their tenure as a game studio.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. If you just look at the games, they've got, I don't know, just above 20. But if you look at how many times they've been redone and re-released,
yeah, exactly.
Looking at Persona 3, you've got Persona 3, Persona 3 Fez, Persona 3 Portable, Persona 3 Reload. That's 4 versions of the same game.
There's going to be another one. There's going to be another one with the new DLC, the other story and the DLC
with the answer in it.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But that's one of the things in regards to... can you think of another genre that's got 56 versions? The only thing I could think of was like Mario must be those numbers in regards to like Mario Golf and tennis and all the other things.
Surely Final Fantasy.
Ooh, 56.
Dragon Quest, maybe.
I don't know. They don't.
Probably
Final
not
Fantasy.
56.
You might have a good point on Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy does have a ton of spin-offs and mobile games and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think maybe it's got to be some obscure Japanese franchise like Atelier.
Yes, agreed. But it just shows how, like, in the Eastern countries, how much they just love a franchise and how much that people just stick with their fandoms, right? This is years and years and years.
They eat it up. Like the Trails games. Trails of, I think, Daybreak just released a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's a months-long commitment.
Oh, easy. Yeah, easy.
Yeah, by the time you finish that game, the next one's ready.
Yeah, and they love it. They, like I said, they are in Shin Megami Tensei Vengeance even sold 100,000 or 200,000 copies on the release in Japan.
Glad.
On release day, even though it is just kind of like the other game with a newer storyline or
I'm so happy because Atlus kind of, I wouldn't say forgot about Shin Megami Tensei. They focused on Persona for a very long time, and then Shin Megami Tensei 5 just kind of proved itself again.
Yeah, true.
Isn't Shin Megami Tensei 4 DS exclusive or something?
They did a lot of Nintendo exclusive stuff back in the day. I can't remember because there's 56 games and they all
it's not at the level of what Persona 4 and 5 was at the time.
Persona started doing so well in the West. You're right. They just focused on it. They focused on it hard, like
because money.
Yeah, exactly. And Persona 4 Golden for the Vita did so well, and then you can now get it on the PlayStation Store, which is also doing super well. Yeah. Money. They're chasing the money. You can't blame them. They really are. But you're right. The Shin Megami Tensei kind of got overlooked for a little bit, but they're slowly bringing them back again.
I'm glad. I'm very glad.
Yeah, same.
I'm hoping the Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance doing this well is proving to them. It might not overtake Persona because I think Persona 6 is going to sell gangbusters.
Oh yes, I think so too.
But this just proves, I mean, Shin Megami Tensei 5 still has an audience.
Oh yes, and a devoted fan audience. I remember playing these as a kid, along with my Nintendo DS.
Which ones?
Did play these games. I played these. They all get very confused, because there's the Cyber one, there's the Devil Survivor one.
Lost Journey.
There's so many, and I know I played a few of them.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you which ones anymore because I was a kid and the names were too long.
I mean, there are a ton. There were Devil Summoner, Devil Survivor.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Soul Hackers, Lost Bible.
There's just too many. They all just get too blended many. In the same.
They really are.
But yeah, a good time. And like I said, coming back to these games is always fun for me because I got a history with them. Now, when it comes to plot of these games, though, this is where you got to kind of love. You got to love-hate for it. Because this game's got a great plot, but I find it kind of confusing. Did you?
I don't entirely know what the plot is.
To be honest with you, I swear, if you take the Persona games, you kind of understand what's going on. In the Shin Megami Tensei games, they're chucking so much lore and plot.
Well, you know what? I think it's because in Persona games, it's just high school in Japan. All the lore is just stuff we already know.
Yeah, that's very
true. You can go down to the store and buy HP and MP increases. You know what they are? It's a bag of chips and a soda.
Yes,
you know what that is. You don't need an explanation. But in Shin Megami Tensei V or what the like, it's gonna be, the Gloob Glab sack that increases this stat. What are you talking about?
It's so much, ladies and gentlemen. It's okay. The brief synopsis is just like any other Japanese fanfare. Of course, you're some sort of teenager.
Yes.
Because teenagers save the world in Japan and Asian countries. We all know that.
No one else does.
No, exactly. When the world ends, the teenagers, I'm going to look to them to save the world.
Yes.
And so you're pulled into the world of, I'm going to say this wrong. Dart.
I heard it pronounced once. I think it's just Dart.
Is it just Dart?
Yes.
Fundamentally a
Dart.
dystopian look at modern day Tokyo. After a world-ending battle between Lucifer and the Creator, so it's a climatic fight of epic proportions between gods.
Yes, the god of horns versus the god of law.
And then you find I hate the Nahobino. I think it's just a really weird name.
It's not Nanobean. It's
Okay, maybe I misread this. I was like, this is such a lame name for who you are. I kind of just started skipping. Okay, what is it then? Am I saying it wrong?
I'm gonna start calling him Nanobean. It's the Nahobino, and that's not his name. That's his race. He is a Nahobino.
Whatever. The Beano guy.
Nanobean.
You of course, just like at a Japanese trope, you merge with a super beam to become a sexy long-haired blue badass.
Which, I mean, makes sense. The Shin Megami Tensei games from the start has all been about fusion.
Yes, very much so. It's very fusion dance Dragon Ball Z from the get-go. So you get powers, he's got amnesia, classic trope again, like getting amnesia and finding out the story, so the develops go. But then these games hit you with, this is Shin Megami Tensei to its core, just those big questions about, this game is all about human free will and fighting for it, and should greater powers that be have control or at least guide you through life, or should you have free will, and is free will decided as being evil or being good?
Jeez,
it goes hard.
It really does. This game is so intense. It's intense really all the time.
And it's funny that it's depicted as like, that you play as teenagers, of course, but the questions they hit you with, and this is adult stuff in this game. Like this makes you sit there thinking, damn, this is like doing an essay at school. Like, is this real? Should we have free will? Is free will decided upon? And of course, like other games, there's betrayal, there's death, there's sacrifice. Of course, you're taking down gods as teenagers, not just bad guys. We're talking literal gods.
Yes, from the very start, you'll be. It's about demons and angels and the war between good and evil, and not playtime good and evil.
No, exactly.
Like this is going on in the sewers of Tokyo. No, the world has been destroyed. Good and evil, and the war between them is all that's left.
Yes, exactly.
It's so intense.
And there's even questions about like the world you live in being the real one, or what if the creator or the god in this sense made a fake one so that humanity won't lose their mind about the concept that their world is God. There's some deep. These games are well known for that, though. These games are very well known
since the start
for taking a simple scenario of teenagers saving the world, but throwing it into deep thought and psychological aspects and contemplative decisions on higher powers and stuff. It's an intriguing mashup, but it does kind of work.
I can't imagine questions like these or ponderances like that being as deep or expanded upon in any other genre than JRPGs.
No. Agreed.
Maybe regular RPGs as well.
It takes some balls to kind of do this, because it's,
right?
religion
and
all the other things. Yeah, no,
but
it really
can you imagine them talking about the existence of of a deity changing your reality to kind of not let you go insane.
Yeah.
And then thinking about how that god is still in a war between Lucifer, and you're stuck in the middle of that conflict. Can you imagine that in Call of Duty?
No, exactly. Like I said, it's one of those games which this makes you have to think, which a lot of games don't do much anymore. We're pulled through. We got linear. It's fun. It's a lot of fun being pulled through a story.
Yeah.
But when you're given the decision to, and in this game you are, to kill someone in regards to your fight between, and you think to yourself, well, I don't know, are they right? You genuinely sit there thinking, what if they're right and I kill them and I end the world in a bad way? There is a lot of just like weird, deep thoughts to process this game that other games just don't give you.
It's not. I saw this in Witcher 3 as well. It's hardly ever good and bad. There's a ton. There's a ton of grey space. There's a ton of grey, and making you having to decide in this grey space.
Yes.
Not easy.
No, exactly. It's very hard to do that in this way. And I might point out, in Vengeance, of course, there's two different stories. You can play the original game, I think it's called like the Creation.
The Canon of Creation.
The Canon of Creation, and then there's the new Vengeance arc, which is, of course, a bit more dark and sinister in regards to how you decide to take on the world.
Which is so... They don't tell you, but this happens after you take Yoko's hand.
Yeah.
At the start. Which I found, it's so cool how they do these things. They could have just given me a menu. Hey, do you want to play the old story or the new story? No, Atlus doesn't roll like that.
No, they add it into the story and nice cutscenes and stuff.
I'm always captivated by the way Atlus does these things. It's never just the apocalypse or just a circle of friends in high school. There's always several twists to liven things up. I'm astounded by Atlus and how they are consistently pulling that off.
Yeah, the storytelling aspect to everything they do like I said, and like they've been doing this for like 30, 40 years. I can't remember exactly the age, but they're definitely masters. You know, they could do a masterclass of just making a story. Like, this is a hard story to keep you activated.
I don't think it pulls it off the entire time, but most times.
But yeah, it's a hard story to pull you along with. It's a hard story to... At times, even I get confused. I'm not great with names, and there are mountains of names in this game. Yeah. There's places, there's gods, there's deities, there's bad guys. There's a lot. So it is quite a difficult story to follow, but it is still it still drags you through enough to be able to understand what's kind of going on. But I do find those things difficult myself. Anything else narratively you want to point out?
I just think some of the characters are cool, although a bit flat. I think the Nahobino is kind of just, like with most or all Atlus games, a vessel or a carrier for the player character.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not about who they are, it's about what they can do, which I find boring unless that's the intention. He's
like the personification of just Super Saiyan. Like, you're normal, you take him on, and now you're not normal, and it's all about you.
Yeah, but I mean... Aloy is also a boring character that is made interesting by what she can do and not who she is.
Yes, agreed.
The difference between the Nahobino and Aloy is with that's the point of the Nahobino.
Yeah, it's true. That's very true. No, it's true. It's just the power-up aspect to you being a teenager. You need to be able to put on the same level as gods, and thus the Nahobino, or what the hell his name is.
Yeah, you got it.
Visuals. What did you think of the visuals in this?
I think this looks like a kind of improved and updated Switch game. Which
I wrote the same thing.
Which is exactly what it is. It's not at fault for being what it is. It just looks it.
I also thought that the whole like menu systems and the user interface
it's a bit of a letdown.
Kind of old. It was kind of... I've played the older games on the Nintendo DS and 3DS, I can't remember which versions of that I played on, and it's got the same menu system. I would have liked the menu system to be a bit more fun, like the Persona games, if you know what I mean.
Agreed.
Because there's something so old school about them that kind of doesn't age well.
I guess not, and I think a big part of Shin Megami Tensei, the franchise, is that sentiment for older times for
yes.
How do I say this, for gameplay of old. I think with Persona and Metaphor coming out September, that's them looking towards the future, and I'm thinking Shin Megami Tensei is them looking towards the past, because even the logo of Shin Megami Tensei hasn't changed in 20 years.
Yeah, they do all look almost identical.
It's the same font. It's still just italicized.
Again, that's one of the reasons why I get them all confused as well, because you're right, the kind of the logo itself kind of all looks the same. Like it's true.
I was let down by the UI compared to other Atlus games, which I'm trying not to do. But it does have a lot of info to convey.
Yeah, tons.
So a smooth and cleaner style might have been the right call. Because if they're trying to stylize these menus, I'm thinking some info might have gotten lost.
Yes,
and that info can't get lost in a game like this.
No, there's just too much, and especially if you're new to a game like this, like yourself to some degree, right? A lot of the things and the items have been the bread and butter of all this franchise, like the bread and the soma and the essences and stuff like that in regards to demons. But if you don't know it, there's a mountain there to learn and very little hand holding to learn.
Yes. Jeez, really? almost no hand.
No, yeah, I agree entirely.
I still almost. It took me a while to grasp essences and.
Oh, same.
Okay, I'm sure we'll get into that in the gameplay, but visuals, the UI, tiny bit of a letdown. Kind of maybe what they had to do to convey all the info. I think the if purely graphical visuals is fine.
Yeah, I think
it looks like a Switch game. It's not. This can easily run on. If you can push the PS3, this can run on a PlayStation 3. I think.
Oh, easy. Ladies and gentlemen, we play on the PlayStation 5 because, of course, that can handle this very easily. They do say that the Switch version actually has a little bit of a problem with the rendering and some of the distance objects that come in.
I can see that. Yeah.
But yeah, this is, if you like that normal just anime feel, it isn't pushing the graphics to hard. This isn't beautiful, but they're nice. They're the normal anime, blue hair, green hair, bright colors type things. It's not mind blowing, but it's and like you said, I'm playing on the PlayStation 5. You feel like you're playing a Nintendo Switch game. You literally looks, feels, and plays.
Yes,
like
unfortunately, it does.
Yeah, which isn't, like I said, and it's kind of like with the UI, it kind of feels like an old game, but it does have its fun little bits. They do this in a lot of the Persona. I think they do this in Persona 2, which I also kind of like. You know, everybody else when you're in the schools and they've got that soulless face. They got no features on their face.
Oh, yes.
I kind of like that. There's something about that just makes me kind of adds to the seclusion of the story and stuff like that. I don't know why, but I just realized when playing this that all the games do that, and I kind of love that art style of just knowing that those people are just fluff, but also meaningless in regards to your fight against gods and demons and stuff like that.
I get it, but that's also why none of them move either.
Yes.
They're all just
dolls.
Dolls, that's right, not moving. Okay.
And there's a ton of reading. If you know these types of games, the cutscenes and stuff are all nice, but the reading, there's a massive amount of reading in this game.
Yeah, the cutscenes are few and far between. You won't get a lot of those, but there's a ton of reading.
Again, aims at like the old school type RPGs back in the day. Reading was what you had to do. This has just got so much. I'm fine with that, but I can understand younger people would possibly get bored very quickly with that type of concept in games like this.
Yeah.
And I thought that the areas you're in are kind of bland. Like, once you go, the first...
I think it's because this is the apocalypse. I think it is very bland.
But even the buildings are generic building A and then... Well, go on. Maybe I'm being mean.
I don't think so. I think that it was because this was primarily made for the Switch. I can't imagine making something like Horizon's world for the Switch.
Yes.
Which is also a post-apocalyptic world.
But if you look at the games like, is it Xenoblade? I always get those wrong.
The
Those.
Oh, you're right. That's on the Switch as well.
Yeah, those are beautiful little landscapes with grass and all the other things that your biodomes would need. So I love the dystopian Tokyo feel. I like the concept of it, but when you're just multiple bits of sand on your first area and then just a building and then more sand and then just a building, it kind of just makes it feel a little sparse. Maybe we're just too spoiled with what we get on the PlayStation, the Xbox, and the PC. Maybe I'm just but yeah, it just felt a bit, after a while, I wasn't enjoying the environment. I was just running around a
Same.
environment.
Well, we're definitely spoiled, but I also got tired of the environment very quickly, and I think you move through it so slowly. We'll get into that in gameplay.
I will say it's Naruto running though. So visually, you gotta love Naruto running, right?
Of course.
I love the idea that when you press sprint, he did that run, or she did that run, or again another interesting visual aspect is that they refer to you as he, but you look both feminine and masculine by all accounts.
Yeah.
Did you not think that? I thought it was an interesting an idea.
I also don't mind that at all.
No, nor me. I thought it was an interesting way of just kind of like adding the ability for everybody to enjoy the main character.
Nice.
Yes.
Anything else visually? Two males fusing, I don't...
Yes, and they do refer to you as he a lot, even though you've got long blue hair and kind of look like a lady. But either way, it works.
I always thought the Nahobino was an it.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's true. But he looks like a man. Or
he does.
It looks like a man.
And also not.
Yes. Lady eyes. They got some very soft lady eyes in this game.
Another aspect I meant to brought up in narrative, I just remembered now because we're talking about it in visuals, is the world is filled with demons. And one thing I found in this game is that the demons are a large part of what is supposed to be a big draw of the narrative.
Oh, yes. I mean, so, yes.
These demons. I remember in Persona that you had all these demons, but they were kind of just ways for you to attack. That's it.
Yes, and just obstacles in the way of you getting to the boss fight.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And that's the extent of demons in Persona. In this game, I promise that's the last time I'm comparing this to Persona. In this game, the demons are humanized, for lack of a better term.
Yes,
right? You've got conversations. They've got personalities.
Yes, I'm with you. Yeah, that's right.
They've all got different functions. They have conversations in the open world. There's a mission early on where there's this rivalry between Apsaris and Lenine Seed.
That's right. And
neither of them are right, neither of them are wrong.
Correct. Yes, that's right.
But it plays into those specific demons' strengths and weaknesses, what they've been doing to the open world.
I was so waiting for you to say it plays into their persona.
Oh,
sorry, I was just waiting.
It
plays into their persona so well. I'm like, whoa, persona. Sorry, go on.
I find that incredible. That this game, the less popular one, does the demons so much better.
Yes, and this is actually a Shin Megami Tensei type thing, because this actually happens in all the other games. They all have emotions and are bad or good or scared or sad or happy or...
Yes.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot.
It makes it a lot different, doesn't it? Because you actually, like you said, you actually perceive these demons as personalities instead of, like you said, obstacles or just things to get you between.
Yes.
To power you up. No, it's very true. They do that very well.
There's this little space you unlock a bit a ways in called a haunt, a demon haunt, where you can go in and have a chat with the demons you've recruited. Yeah. Right? You can even chat with Aogami, the kind of...
That's right.
The god you've fused with to create the Nahobino. You can have a chat with all of these. You can have a chat with Yoko. It's really cool. And the conversations you've got with your demons are always... It's just flavor text. Sometimes they give you an item, but it's almost always just fun. And
it's strange, isn't it? It's to personify demons in a, oh, I kind of like this guy, or, oh, shame, this guy's lonely. And things like that. No, that's what those games do. They kind of give... makes you think about everything in regards to
I had
aspect.
this little flower... girl, she's tiny, and she told me there's a way to kind of tell the difference between a girl flower boy and a boy flower boy.
I didn't.
And they say, well, all you need to do is between the boy flower boy's legs, there's and then she gets quiet and embarrassed and kind of shoos me away.
Yeah. I know.
It's personifying these demons. It's humanizing them. It's great.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's all the Shin Megami Tensei wants. It's again, it makes you think. It makes you ponder. It makes you wonder. Yeah. It makes you think outside the box, so to speak.
I like it. I do like it a lot. It makes me. Before we do, it just makes me feel like Shin Megami Tensei is the older brother.
Yeah.
That writes actually profound poetry, and Persona's the younger, more popular brother.
It almost feels like it's aimed at different generations of people, right? Shin Megami Tensei is for us old people who read, and Persona's more fun and a relationship.
And everyone thinks that they don't like each other, but they actually really do like each other because they're grown from the same ilk or whatever.
Yes, yeah, exactly. No, I agree. I see what you mean. Anything else visuals, or should we go into audio, Mr. Audio Man?
I'm gonna say this again. The best part, the best part of this entire game. I've said it before for other games. The audio is it's astounding how some of these games get games to sound like this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm amazed. This is one of the standout elements of this game, easily. Right?
I agreed. Like I said, we all know that, again, we're comparing it to Persona. Persona has a great soundtrack. This has a great soundtrack, right?
It really does. It's absolutely incredible what Atlus did with the soundtrack, with the distant, floaty, melodic singing, and sometimes synthetic sounds, almost electronic. It's mesmerizing.
Yeah, it was a composer called Ryota Kusuka, and he's actually done almost all the Shin Megami Tensei games. He's had a hand in some of the Persona stuff, and he's done a few of the Guilty Gear, the 2D fighting type games. But he's basically been doing it for every one of their games, and he is very good at it.
It sounds it. It's incredible. He's got this. I think, if not the directors of these games, he's got the vibe and atmosphere for these games down.
Yes. I think
in his mind, it's astounding. Every part.
Yeah, the history of him making these games, he knows. Even when he adds like the hard rock elements and then the soft dystopian emptiness, and his soundtrack just goes hard sometimes as well. Does. Just during certain scenes, you're like, whoa, geez, this changed up. No, it's it's one of those games, especially in the game with the context where you're toppling gods and you're talking to demons and stuff like that, to have to mix a soundtrack that goes well with that, it's got to be a very difficult task to do. And of course, you're teenagers, so you got to match with the whole angsty teenage vibe to it. It does come across so good. Like, sometimes I remember I left and just waited on a fight screen, and the song was actually decent. I was making tea or just fixing something, I can't remember what it was. And the music it plays was actually, you could just leave it on in the background. It actually worked really well.
All these songs, every single one. All of these songs, that I can leave them, I can listen to the soundtrack. I think it's every part of the game that you spend a significant amount of time in has a unique instrument or sound accompanying it. Yeah. I'm sure you must have heard this, right?
Yes, definitely. I don't know the instruments as well as you do, but you're right. Each one had a different style, different tempo, different atmosphere to it.
Exactly. Like in the pause menu, in the distance, you can hear a reverb piano.
Yes. I know the one you're talking about. Yep.
That's the standout instrument of that menu. You spend a significant amount of time in menus, so the music really must be good, and it is. And then the level up screen. It's less time in the level up screen, but those bells. Isn't it?
Isn't it crazy to think that somebody's like sitting down, a composer, it's like, now I've got to do a leveling up screen. What instrument shall I use here? Yes. It must be so much. It must be so weird to be like, okay, hardcore rock here, and this loading screen piano, but here we'll mix it up with some bells. It must be so much fun.
I totally agree. It's just it's years of working on this franchise.
Yes.
Hours and hours of conversing with directors and creative leads. It's so. Kudos to him. I can't remember his name.
Ryota Kosuka.
That's the one.
I'm going to be saying it wrong because I always do, but that's
another one. Another one is the blown out double bass during negotiations.
Oh yes, yeah. I know. I didn't know it was a double bass.
That's a tiny bit jazzy, but it's such a good negotiating track.
It also adds to the fact that negotiation's so hard, right? You could say the wrong thing at any time, so it kind of adds tension to your conversation. Yes. Just the aspect that it could go all wrong, or it could go all right.
It's only much later I found out that the phases of the moon have an impact on negotiations.
Yeah. Again, same here. I was like...
no hand-holding.
I literally had to go into the menu, go look at that tutorials tab, and just read it all again, because I was like... Why? Why can't I work like? Granted, negotiation's fun, but it's confusing a lot of the time.
It is.
And
the
they
voice want actors, so much. Sorry, that's gameplay. That's gameplay. We'll get into it.
The voice actors. I had a quick delve into the voice actors' qualities. The protagonist or the person you play is
the Nahobino.
The Nahobino is voiced by Casey Mangelo. I'm bound to be saying that wrong. Okay. He also voices, I don't know, you must have seen it on Netflix, an anime called Delicious in Dungeon.
Oh, I've seen it, yeah.
It's on there. He plays Chill Chuck Timms, the little... he plays a little thief type rogue, so to speak.
Okay.
He also plays Angel in the anime Chainsaw Man, which I know you also know of. Probably haven't watched it. Angel's a weird character in that. He's kind of omnipotent, but kind of depressed and bored with life. And this was actually the Nahobino, or whatever his name is, Aogami. I don't know how to say his name. He's voiced by Damon Mills. He does in the new Final Fantasy games. He plays Whis the Immaculate, which, if you know the games, you know who that is. He plays Frieza in the up-and-coming Dragon Ball soft drink Sparkling Zero.
Ooh, sparking plug. Okay.
And this is my favorite one. He plays in the latest Pokemon Horizons TV series with Ash and Pikachu. He plays Staryu, which you must know your Pokemon, right? It's the one that goes yeah.
The one with Misty.
Yeah, and I just thought that's a great little all those things, and he plays Staryu. I just thought that was funny. I had to share that. I love the idea that he plays Staryu.
That's hilarious.
And of course, there's the first guy you meet, Yasura Atutsuka.
Yes,
I'm going to say his name wrong again. He's played by Mark Whitten, who also did in Spider-Man 2 played the Lizard and Kurt Connors, the other side of the limit.
Okay.
He played Kadelahara Kazuha in Genshin Impact. And
there's
big names. These are some big names in this chunky game.
Which is impressive because Atlus famously have put little to no effort in localizing to English.
Yes, they've only been doing it in the last few years, right?
Yes, you're right. Even just, I think Persona 3 Reload was the first worldwide release they've done. Wasn't it?
I feel like Persona 5 could have been a worldwide, was it not?
No. Persona 5's English release only came out a year. Persona 5 in Japan came out 2016.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
English Persona 5 came out in 2017.
No, you could be right. This Persona 3 could be the worldwide. That makes sense if I think about it. These all come out generally in Japan first, but I think this did all release at the same time. That would make sense.
Yes,
that's a good
point.
So
them hiring these voice actors are just testament to they're now taking localization serious.
Yes, their dedication to the West, so to speak, and
which is I'm very glad.
Definitely, because we get some bangers now to play.
Right.
Okay, should we jump into gameplay?
No,
why not?
Have you've fought in this game, right?
I have, yes, many times.
when you preemptively strike an enemy, what do you hear when you enter battle?
I can't remember. I don't know. A noise? You've got me on the back foot there.
When you preemptively strike a demon out in the overworld, you hear what almost sounds like a blown out guitar kind of tuning.
Okay, yeah, that's
right. And it sounds like somebody's just pulling the steel strings on an electric guitar, and the amp's just overblown to volume 11.
That's right. I got you.
The track only starts the moment you hit first. The moment you strike the enemy, then that rock hard tune plays.
Yes, I got you. That's clever. I didn't notice that. That is clever. That's a really cool idea. No, that's true. Now you mentioned it, because of course you're audio man. That's actually that's really a clever concept.
I am constantly amazed by the audio from these games, especially Atlus games.
Mm-hmm.
Not just that, but come on, my favorite cutscene of the entire game. Yes, yes. It's even better than when you get introduced to Nama.
Yeah, got you. Yeah.
The balls Atlus has for that Demon Fusion cutscene.
Yes, that's true. Those things are always so cool.
Woo! That Demon Fusion cutscene. Yeah, Dave.
They do it so well in all the games. Like I say, we mentioned Persona again, even though the tune's there. But again, it's one of the highlights, just fusing the demons together, because it looks good and it's fun, and the music is up there. And of course, an accident might happen. So there's genuinely a good time every time.
It really is. But the reason I like this one out of all of them, even better than the cards going through Makoto's forehead. Better than the guillotine in Persona 5. This one is the absolute best, because the Nahobino spawns an organ around him. Leans on the back foot and just rips on the organ.
That's true. Yeah, it's true.
Are you kidding me? An organ?
See the scene. Yeah, no.
You're making a new monster and you're playing an organ with some giant titties behind you?
Not all of them have giant. But yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, but they do that well in that the same with the blue room or the velvet room in the Persona.
Yes.
The style change in that and it's always haunted house type, dark and secret type vibes to them, which like I said, I love it. No, I agree.
Do you think they made Sophia's Will the Shadows blue because the velvet room is also blue?
I think so. I was thinking that same thing. I think it's some sort of connected thing. I can't remember the other games.
It could be.
You're right.
We're on to you, Atlus.
Yes, we see you. We see what you're doing there. Okay. Ooh, now gameplay.
Now gameplay.
This game's hard. And I say that
balls.
I was supposed to be, I played these games before. This is supposed to be me going back, it's a walk in the park, right? I know these games.
Yes. You're the JRPG master.
I was like, am I just dumb? How? No. I was getting owned so badly by the side quests, and I'm like, holy crap! Like
it can't be this difficult, right? It can't be. Me.
When you start this game, you have a weakness to Mudo, the dark attacks, right?
The dark element.
And for 4 hours, I couldn't get past the fact, because I didn't really, again, read that you could change kind of your essences, which would change your vulnerabilities and your resistances. Yes. And I was just getting owned by this game all the time. I was like, how? One attack and I die. And if your main, ladies and gents, if your main character, your protagonist dies, it's game over. It doesn't matter about the other ones.
Yes, if the nano beam drops it, you're done. Yeah. And it's not like Persona. Shit, I did it again. Yeah, it's not like Persona where they give you a menu and ask, "Oh, do you want to rejoin your battle,
exactly.
little sir?" No, it's menu screen.
It's old school. Again, this goes back to the DS games. There's this is no hand holding. There's no save checkpoints or anything. You've got to make sure you save before every fight.
You're going to eat that entire shit sandwich.
Oh, jeez, it drove me so mental, and I was thinking, I'm so dumb. Why can't I do this?
So, I've been meaning to ask, ladies and gents, before we recorded, Dave told me that he at one point forgot to save and died and lost 4 hours worth of progress. Dave,
annoyed.
Please elaborate.
Well, again, this is because I'm stupid, ladies and gentlemen. I might point out there that you can save at any time during this game by pressing the up button, and it would take you to the saving screen. But I was making my way downtown. Sorry.
You did it. You did it.
I had to. I was making my way through. I'm enjoying it. I'm getting used to the controls, the story. I'm like, okay, yes, I remember these games go hard in you've got to do all the negotiations so that you can fill teams and then you can fuse them. And then that's how you kind of progress because you got to do it. Because in this game, you being level 12 and then being level 13 is actually a big gap. They will own you by just 1 or 2 levels. Yes, so I remember doing this and I thought, oh yeah, okay. I've negotiated with this one. I got this one. I'm fusing. I'm getting essences. I'm finding little dig holes. I'm doing so well. I thought, okay, now I must be ready to take on the first boss, right? The first main boss of the area.
Is it the one at the train tracks or the Hydra?
The Hydra.
Ooh.
The Hydra was just traumatizing because I went there. I thought I was all. I've got my. I don't read words. The Mishishumi Mini whatever energy all powered up. You pick up energy. Begins with M. It's a long Japanese word. What's it called?
Yeah, the Matsuguhi.
There you go. I had that. I was ready. I was. My team was good, and I took on the Hydra. And I got about halfway, and it has like a phase 2 where it loses 6 of its heads or something, and then it just goes ape shit on you. Every time it has its turn, and I just got owned. And I thought to myself, I remember going, okay, I lost. But it's bound to have checkpointed just before that fight, right? Because it's a main story fight.
Yes.
It gives you this huge story about the fight, and the memories came back to your Nahobino, or what the hell his name is. So I thought they had to do a checkpoint save there. That's just a given.
And wait a minute, but Aogami stops you, and you get a tutorial screen before the Hydra.
Okay, I may have not read it. I'm a veteran of these games. I was I know what I'm doing. I don't. And then it took you back to the menu, and then I pressed continue, and it was literally the first area, finding the Nahobino, and I was like, oh my god. Ooh. I know gamers out there, I know you'll know exactly, especially the older ones, exactly this feeling. We've all done it. We've all lost a save. That granted, luckily this was only 4 hours. You know,
only 4 hours.
My brother lost 212 hours in Skyrim once because of a corrupt hard drive, and you know he still has trauma from it because of the hours lost. This was annoying, and I was like, oh, okay, so this really is like the old school types of games where you know this is no hand holding at all.
That's devastating.
And let me point out, Vengeance, the newer version, is the easier version. In the original game, Shin Megami Tensei V, you didn't have a quick save. You only had the saves at the portals.
Oh wow! So you could only save at the ley lines.
Only saves at the ley lines, yeah. And
wow!
Well, there was a ton. There was a ton of things in this game which they fixed or made a little deep, like the rail system. Those little rails you get from one place to another.
I love those rails.
Those were added just so that you can
and Yoko was added in Vengeance. It's a lot of good additives, but
yes, there's ton. The haunt system I think was also added just so you can do the whole Tamagotchi chatting aspect to your things. And they fixed the map. Supposedly the map system in the original game was kind of trash, so they did the whole bird's eye view thing, so you could see things better. But
nice, yes.
But gameplay,
okay, there's a lot of improvements. Yes, that bird's eye view thing is, I used that a ton.
No, same. That was it's essential to some degrees. But again, this system, it does that. It's kind of like I always say it's like Pokemon rock paper scissors system, but it's for adults. Because you could so easily get wiped out very quickly if you don't know your weaknesses and your strengths and what all these weird name things like Puplina and the weird status effects that you get that aren't like just confusion. They're charm and all the other things that you get. This is a game where you really have to use your head like chess when you do your fighting system. Because you can get owned so quickly.
You can. Speaking of, did you ever get back to the Hydra?
I did. I defeated the Hydra. Took me a while, though. I must admit.
Okay, great.
Did you?
So, sorry?
Did you defeat the Hydra?
I
think we know the answer, audience.
I don't think you do.
Go on.
Don't want to say.
You were just.
I defeated him first try.
No. God damn it! What did you have? Did you just have all fire or like fire things that had boo food?
No, this was like by the skin of my teeth. I had it downed my entire party and every demon I had in reserve as well.
Yeah,
it was just the Nahobino and Yoko left, and their health was on I think single digits.
Yeah, and you pulled off a win like how? Just luck?
No, it was either I'm attacking it or it's attacking me. Whoever's attacking first wins and it just turned out that I could attack it and won.
Again, like a dumbass, I didn't know that you could like. I played the original like vanilla version of the Nahobino for like 6 hours, where he just had ZO1 and attack, and I didn't.
Oh yeah.
I didn't read that you could actually like use the essences and learn the skills from all the other demons
because they don't tell you because
I was like
supposed to be an adult, and
I know exactly. I'm so used to being spoon fed these things because I was like, why is my cute little like nymph or wind thing got like Bufu 3 and Igni 5 or what the fire things are, and I'm just stuck with Zeo 1. I'm like, why isn't this changing? And
I'm the main character.
Yeah, well, I'm supposed to be the all-powerful thing. Why am I such a weak little good for nothing? And then of course I had to read a mountain of stuff, and then I realized, I'm just being an idiot again. I
eventually did meet Nama, the first member you meet of the Kadishtu.
Yes, right. God, geez, the names. Yeah, all right.
I know. She's something.
She's kind of like the cliched things in these games, right?
Yes.
The mascot.
That's where I stopped. I could not get past Nama.
Again, Legend, this game is hard. Like, let me point out, Nick has completed Elden Ring and stuff like that. So we're not like newbie type gamers. So we're certain genres, sure, but this game is hard. This game is hard.
This game, I think what it is this game doesn't spoon feed. It doesn't hold your hand.
No.
It passes over the entire gargantuan system it runs on. It passes it to you and it tells you, okay, if you're so smart, figure this out.
Yeah, it's kind of designed for those people who did play the original ones when they were kids and like, all this already, right? You know all this. I will put them in a little menu somewhere in tutorials, but go and just play because you know what you're doing. But once you know what you're doing...
Oh, Jeffrey, we know you.
Yeah, exactly.
Go on ahead, Jeffrey.
But once you know what you're doing, that's where it kind of gets fun. When you start thinking and changing your demons out and actually fusing them and working things out. It is actually quite chess-like, but it's quite rewarding when you work everything out.
Entirely. Yeah. A lot of people play the other P game from Atlus that shall not be named because the story is so incredible. People play Shin Megami Tensei V to get the system down. And once you've got this system down, once you've got the gameplay understood and figured out, it gets addictive.
Yes, agreed.
To keep going through that loop.
Yes, and trying to work it out, and I must admit, I found that again. This is one thing that it's throughout all the games. The negotiation system's kind of wacky. You'll get them begging for their lives, and then you'll get them being boisterous and trying to kick your ass, and then holding you to ransom. It's such a fun little time just trying to recruit some of them.
Yeah, and if you're struggling, once you find out exactly how everything works, once you find out. If the moon is full, it'll be easier, and if it's dark, it's going to be harder. Once you know
that's right.
This entire thing is just for you to be figured out, and if you don't like doing that, then this game just isn't.
Yeah, it really isn't.
And there's not much to it.
There's not an easy mode. There's not one way you can say, "Can you do this for me?" There's no hand holding. If you don't, it's one of those weird things which kind of would alienate a bunch of people because. You are not spoon-fed. This is a hard game, but if you like it's got that same level of Elden Ring that when you achieve things, you think yes. When you take down the Elden Beast,
it wasn't given. Exactly. You didn't just need to press A to win.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly. Which is it's shocking to think in a Japanese RPG, but it does have those elements.
I've got a question for you.
Go on.
How do you feel about a game like this being this open world?
I kind of get it because they're competing with every other game that's open world now. Everything has to be an open world, or people don't like it. Because the other, like I say, the original Shin Megami aren't that open. It's very story based. Almost some of them are like visual novel-esque, where you actually go from scenario to scenario through a bunch of conversation screens, then take on a fight and negotiate with demons. I didn't mind it, but it does kind of make it a bit grindy and a bit chore-like to run from one point to the other and back to the other and back to the other. It was okay. What do you think?
I haven't played any other Shin Megami Tensei games.
Yes, of course.
This is my first one. I didn't even know the rest weren't open world.
Oh no, like I said, but granted, in theory, that was a hardware thing too, because the Nintendo DS and all that stuff. You couldn't.
Okay, that makes sense.
You couldn't make a ton of them that open world because we just didn't have the capacity.
Like the rest are gonna be open world?
I'd be shocked if they're not. Because
okay.
What the world wants, everybody wants Zelda, everybody wants Elden Ring, everybody wants.
It kind of makes sense. Everything is now in an apocalypse, and you're kind of roaming the wasteland.
Yes, that's true. It does work with
find
the
and figure out.
One. Yeah, that's true.
So it kind of makes sense. I would like the story to have been better. It almost seems like for the Canon of Vengeance, it's your friends Yoko up against Lucifer and the Kadishtu.
Yes, correct.
Right?
That's fundamentally, by bare bones is what it is, yeah.
Which I mean, I don't hate. It's not that good.
It isn't. It is. It's the thing is, we're comparing it again to Persona because Persona.
No, we shouldn't. We
is
shan't.
Such a narratively drawn game, and you are pulled to, be it 3, 4, or 5. They're very good in their storytelling.
I think the gameplay for this one is better.
It's definitely more adult. It's definitely, I agree. There's more depth to it too. If you go to the bare bones of it, I just love Persona 3, 4, and 5, so it's hard for me to say that this is better.
And I think we're gonna have this conversation all over again once we review Metaphor.
No, exactly right. Ooh, Metaphor. That's gonna be.
I know. There was a gameplay reveal they did during Summer Game Fest. Just 30 minutes of we are getting off track.
So pretty. Anyway, Metaphor. If you're listening, who's doing that? They're listening.
It's Gamefinity again.
Exactly.
Sega and Atlus, the same. We'll have it.
Can't wait. Okay. Anything performance-wise? Did you see anything let you down here?
No, nothing. Besides just the visuals being Switch-like, which this was a Switch game.
Yeah.
Now being ported to the PS3, it runs absolutely incredible. But that's like running the original Pokemon on a Switch.
That's right. That's exactly what we always say. Whenever they port games that are made to handhelds, because handheld games are always made kind of strong and sturdy and less buggy, most of them. When they get ported onto other things, it just runs fine because it's not hard to run them. Yeah. And they're made so well in the first place. So... yeah, same. Had no issues. It ran fine. It was pretty. It was smooth. It worked the way it's supposed to. I think it ran
better than fine. Mine ran incredibly well. Okay. I mean, okay. If I can imagine when you're at the ley line and you need to teleport to the World of Shadows or Cadaver's Hollow.
Yeah.
That's like a 20-second loading screen.
Yes, that's true.
But on the PS5, it's just like going from one menu to the other.
But there were
you teleport,
moments...
the background changes hardly a second, and I can shop.
That's true, but there was something there, wasn't there? Because I remember the menu screens, they used to give you little brief descriptions of the demons. Am I making that up?
What do you mean?
I swear, some of the loading screens, there was somewhere in the game where
tiny. I hardly got a couple of words in.
Yes, same. Yeah, I couldn't read the descriptions in time. But you're right. I bet you on the Switch there's a timer.
That's when it loads your game. Once your game's loaded.
Oh, is that where that is?
I didn't find any other single loading screen.
No, same.
None.
I was just wondering where that came. Yeah, you're right. It makes you wonder on the Switch, though. That probably is quite slower and...
lengthy.
Yeah, lengthy. Like I say, it runs perfectly fine on the PlayStation 5.
Even when you go to your haunt and back, you just teleport. Exactly. There's no loading.
Yeah. Which, of course, technology today is so cool.
Yeah. So the performance is quite good.
Okay, and what do you think value-wise?
Come on.
Is there bang for buck here?
Geez. This is they've got 2 campaigns, if I can call it that.
Yeah, and multiple endings to each one of them.
Multiple endings, 2 campaigns. That's right. Hundreds of demons. There's just so much. So tons and tons of value in this package.
No, there's mountains of it. Yeah, no doubt.
Right? You get hours of game here, and those hours are valuable. You're not just pressing square to fight Vikings for an hour. No. Right? And if this is your jam, you can easily get your money's worth. And then
definitely,
some.
Definitely. Yeah, and like I said, if you're into Japanese RPGs, if you complexity, hard, this is definitely the definitive version. I would definitely buy this one over just the original Shin Megami Tensei V.
Oh, for sure.
Of their little updates and the rails, and just everything seems a bit easier and more. And I'll give it their credit. They actually listened to the complaints about the game and added these things. People complained, and so they actually listened to their fans and actually made those improvements, which is always fun to hear actual development companies and stuff listening to the people who buy their games.
Yes. Good job, Atlus.
Like, was it too early for a new one to come out? Is 3 years long enough? Like I said, the people asked this in regards to what was the big one? The Last of Us, right? Like, did we need a newer version of that all of a sudden? But this one does come with a lot of tweaks that makes it.
That's it. This
game.
isn't. The Last of Us Part 1 was a remake of the same stuff.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
nothing new. It's just polished.
Prettier.
It's just prettier.
Yeah.
This one had new stuff. This one was worth playing again because there's more new stuff.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
That's like Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal.
Yeah, well, Royal's so much better than
It really is.
It really is. It's a mountains better than the
when I think of The Last of Us Part 1, the remake, I'm thinking, geez, it's such a talented studio. Make them make something new.
Yeah, that was
please.
a cash grab. We all know it. I don't blame them entirely for it because money and making games is expensive, but that was 100%. No, I agree. There's so much more little tweaks in this and just gameplay value that you're getting to it, as well as, of course, the other narrative and the different stories and stuff like that. So, and for, I think this is the normal price of what, $60 or something. It just came out. It's worth it. There's for $60, it's worth actually spending your time with. There's a lot there, multiple endings. Compared to some other games you spend that money on and you got one playthrough through it and that's it. This has definitely got some legs on it. And,
yes.
One playthrough is going to take you hours upon hours because it's a Japanese RPG. It's what they generally take.
Yeah. And if you like the game, if it's a good game, that's a good thing.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly.
I spent 120 hours on Persona 5 and I immediately started the next playthrough.
I just can't believe that still.
I had to get that platinum, Dave.
I cannot believe
I needed that platinum.
I respect it, and I respect all those people. Like, people show clips of like 3,000 hours on Dota and 6,000. And I go, whoa, that's just so crazy to me. And then
there's a difference between 200 hours and 3,000 hours. But you played
Persona 5 and then played Persona 5 again. For me, that's so insane. But yeah, he got his platinum, so at the end, he got what he wanted. But anyway, I digress. Yes, this game is worth the money, by all means.
Absolutely.
I'd say pick it up.
For sure.
What did we score this bad boy then?
Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance releasing on PC, PS5, Xbox, and Switch again.
Yeah, like everything. It's released on everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. I think it's a great game. The scores we got for this got sent to a Tokyo school overseas, but oh no, it's been destroyed by Lucifer. Oh shit! Now there's only one score left. This score fused with a prototype Ogami and is now the nanobean rating of B.
That was amazing, by the way. Good
Thank
work.
you very much. Thank you.
Which is the same score we gave Helldivers 2. Granted, that was the original Helldivers 2. Helldivers has upgraded and gotten better recently. Dragon's Dogma 2.
Also good. There's a lot. B is it's a good score. It's a great game. I think if this is your type of game, it's incredible. It's incredible. And you can lose yourself for days, weeks even.
And just how we say everything else, remember, this is just our point of view. It's just our thoughts. If you love this game, it's an A. If you hate this game, it's an F. Reviews
as
are
easy
all
as that. Who are we to tell you what you like?
Exactly. If you buy it, play it. If you don't, the gaming is one of those beautiful things where if you enjoy it, enjoy it. If you don't, then who cares what anyone else
thank you, Dave.
Exactly.
But that was Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance. I've been meaning to jump into the Mega 10 franchise for years.
Yeah, it's a big pool as well.
It's massive.
Deep end.
It's massive, and it's not as friendly or as big as open and friendly as Final Fantasy.
No, I agree.
That one's easy. Just choose a number. There you go.
That's it. Jump straight in. Agreed. This is hard.
Not so much.
This is the adult version of those games. This is hard work.
But I'm glad we did it.
Same.
I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm
Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance. Thanks again for listening to this week's episode of the Critical Arcade podcast. If you'd be so kind, you could leave us a review or don't. That's fine too. You could follow us on our social channels on Instagram. Yes, we're still posting on Instagram. And YouTube. Please go take a look at my YouTube channel. It's fun. You can catch me on email. I'm nick@criticalarcade.com.
And I'm Dave at criticalarcade.com.
But besides for your email, Dave, where else can we follow you?
Well, you can find me out and about, but I have become friends with, I think they were called slimes in this game.
I knew it. I knew you were going to say slimes. Yes, they're slimes.
In this game. These big, green, grotesque, kind of sad individuals.
Oh, extremely sad. Extremely sad. Their bio says they're failed fusions.
Oh, that seems perfect. And by all accounts, I'm very friendly with these. And if you come and find me out there, I will make sure that these people move in with you. And
no.
I know, it's kind of sad. It's kind of nice, like a Dr. Slime type aspect. I will make you a Dr. Slime. Granted, note that they're very needy. They're very sad. They smell. And
they're rude.
They're everything. They're loud. They're kind of just gross in every way. But so, yeah, how's a slime? Come find me.
Gross.
The slimes are gross, but they are quite funny characters in the game.
Don't adopt a slime. No. It's a trap. Rather follow us on Patreon for exclusive content like our post show and Critical Cinema. But besides that, Dave, how about you let us in? What have we got lined up for next week?
Next week we have, and if you're a fan of alliteration like I am, we're going deep into, again, what's the studio called again?
It's MiHoYo.
MiHoYo, of course, sorry. With the great names like Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact. This time we have Zenless Zone Zero.
Yeah, anime.
Right? It's when you read it, no clue what that actually means, but somehow they'll tie in. It
doesn't matter.
Yeah, they'll tie in that this means everything. This all makes sense. So yeah, Zenless Zone Zero. Oh, I love the alliteration. I can't wait to write it.
It's good. And please, everyone, this is a free-to-play title. So,
exactly.
Feel free to download this on your PlayStation or your PC and not your Xbox, because it's not releasing on Xbox anymore. Play Zenless Zone Zero and then join us for next week's episode where we'll have a chat about all of this and more. Exactly. And we'll see you then. Cheers.
Cheers.